Hey, this is Brutally Honest Tech. I want to talk today about what graphics cards you should be buying. It's going to be an Nvidia versus AMD comparison, and this is going to be kind of a quick video. It's not going to be too long. Really, it depends on your monitor. So, your monitor is really the deciding factor in which graphics card you should be buying realistically. So if you have a really nice monitor, if you have a 4K monitor, it depends on if it's 60 hertz, 75 hertz, 100 hertz, 144 hertz. Which if you have a 4K 144 hertz monitor, um, you're not watching this video. You know what graphics card you need. But if you have like a 4K 60 hertz, if you have a 1080p 144 hertz, if you have a 1440p 144 hertz or 165 hertz, then this is going to be the right video for you. Uh, so a lot of times it's going to come down to your budget, and if you're running a 4K monitor, if you're running 4K at all, even if it's just 60 hertz, um, you should probably be looking at either a 2080 Super if you want everything on Ultra, then a 2080 Ti. If you don't really care that much about your settings, you just want it to run smoothly, 2070 Super would do, but 2080 Super is probably the way to go still. Um, Now, ray tracing is something that is going to get bigger in the next few years. Right now, the technology on these graphics cards that are out right now, the 2000 series Nvidia, is not. It's not going to be cutting it when the new games come out and they're made for the new graphics cards. So just keep that in mind. Ray tracing is important for certain things. If you absolutely want ray tracing, I know there's a lot of people that play Minecraft. They want the ray tracing. I'm sure there's going to be more games coming out with ray tracing in the future. Um, but the newer graphics cards are going to have an easier time doing ray tracing than the current ones. So just keep that in mind. If you can wait to buy a graphics card, you should probably wait. You should probably wait until the 3000 series comes out, and we'll know a little bit more about what the performance is for that. Um, so if you're on a budget, the two cards you really should be looking at are the 2070 Super, which is around $500, and then the 5700 XT, which is $400. If you don't care about ray tracing, the 5700 XT is probably the way to go, because the difference in price between the 5700 XT and the 2070 Super compared to the performance that you're going to be getting, the 5700 XT performs decently enough to not care about spending an extra $100 for a little bit more stability, I guess. Like a little bit more. You're gonna have frames a little bit more consistently, and probably about 10 more frames, which it really isn't that much for $100. 10 frames. That's geez. I feel like with the new graphics cards around the corner, if you're gonna buy a graphics card now, um, probably like the bare minimum to get the best frames is probably the way to go. So 5700 XT would be my first choice if you're on a budget and you do want to upgrade later on. Because there's some 5700 XTs you can find for $370. You know, that's cheap, super cheap. And let's see what else. If you're really, really on a budget, 2060 Super is probably the way to go. 2060 is, I don't remember how much the 2060 Super is, but I'm gonna say probably around like $300. I'm gonna say. Uh, so I don't know, a difference of $100, because the jump between the 2060 and the 5700 XT is huge. That is a huge difference. So is that worth the extra money? Yeah, it kind of is. It kind of is worth the extra money in there. Um, just make sure that your computer is not super old. You don't want to put a newer graphics card into like an old computer because it's not going to do anything. It's going to bottleneck on your CPU. Your CPU is not going to. It's not going to be able to push out the instructions to your graphics card fast enough. So it doesn't. It makes no sense to put a 2080 Ti in a fourth gen, i7 or something like that. Not that the fourth gen i7 is bad. It's a good CPU, but not for gaming. Not now. Not in 2020. It's the gaming's not good on the fourth gen. So I'd say 7th gen or higher for CPUs is probably still relevant. 7th gen is really cutting it though. The 8000 series on Intel CPUs is really good. 9000 series is even better, and then the 10th gen. I think they're good for the price. I don't really necessarily think that they're better than the 9th gen. I just think that they're a little bit cheaper. Unless you're buying a really expensive one, like the 10900X. That's actually a really decently priced CPU if you want the enthusiast CPU. But if you're gonna build a computer, and I mean the 10700K is what you want, that's gonna be more than enough, because the 10900K that's for like multitasking. That's for doing work on your computer, not just playing games. So just keep that in mind when you're buying your graphics card. What kind of computer do you have now? Should you be upgrading to that, or should you be thinking about buying a new PC or building a new PC? One of the two. Just keep that in mind. Think about what kind of monitor you have. If you just have a 1080p 60 hertz monitor, most games are going to be able to run 1080p at 60 hertz even at max. I mean, most graphics cards are going to be able to run it at max. If you have 144 hertz, you're going to want the 5700 XT or the 2070 Super. If you're running at 4K, you want the 2080 Super or the 2080 Ti right now. Until the new graphics cards come out. When the new ones come out, more than likely they're going to be able to push 4K no problem with most of the settings enabled and still get decent frame rates. And like I said, if you have a 4K monitor that's 144 hertz, you're not watching this video, because nobody buys that monitor and doesn't know what graphics card to get with that. You would definitely have to get a 2080 Ti. There's no question. Or maybe run a couple of those SLI if you could, but SLI gaming is not what it used to be. It really is no point in going SLI anymore. It just doesn't. I mean, it gives you an increase, but for that price, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't. It's not worth the money. So, yeah, I'd say 2080 Super first choice, 2070 Super second choice if you don't mind spending the $500. If you're wanting to go cheaper than that, 5700 XT, or if you plan on upgrading, 5700 XT is probably the route to go. So you're gonna spend probably about $400, and at the very minimum, spend $300, because if you spend any less than $300 on a graphics card, you are gonna be sadly disappointed. You're gonna be really disappointed in the You might as well have bought a PlayStation 4 or an Xbox One X for that price, and just had a dedicated station for that. Yeah, that's about it. So I hope this helped you guys out, and you guys have a good one.